Couple of playoff teams from the Southwest Division a season ago. What does it have in store for us here in 2010 and 2011? Hey, how are you folks? Jason Horwitz, glad to be with you. Your Southwest Division preview right here on CBSSports.com. And to help me do that, the team, CBSSports.com's senior NBA writer Ken Berger, CBS Sports' Ian Eagle, also the voice of the New Jersey Nets. And Ken, when you look at this division, you look at San Antonio and Dallas, and you also throw Houston into the mix because it's the Texas three-step, we'll call it. What's the difference among those three teams?
Well, number one, Yao Ming, and he's everything to the Rockets, and they're still trying to hold on to the notion that he can stay healthy and lead them to a playoff series victory. If he is healthy, certainly they are a playoff team, and a dangerous one at that. You know, Dallas and San Antonio are kind of in that same mode. They're trying to make this work with what they have, with a core veteran group that's been together for the most part. San Antonio especially, I think if they can get what they need to get out of Duncan, Thiago Splitter allows them to give Duncan a little bit of rest in the regular season. I think they could be a very dangerous team, and the window's not closed yet.
I think Dallas still has that star power with Dirk Nowitzki and with Jason Kidd, and I believe Tyson Chandler is going to help them. That's kind of the missing piece that they were looking for, someone that's going to go in, get some tough rebounds, be a defensive presence. He'll score on some garbage points on the inside, but if they can develop Boubois and take a little bit of pressure off of Kidd, I think part of the issue for Kidd is going to be who does he guard? He cannot chase around these smaller point guards around the NBA these days, and they're going to have to cross-match and mix and match defensively. But with Caron Butler there, Sean Marion, there's still a very high talent level. San Antonio, they're looking for that one last push. Tony Parker, final year of his contract. Will that become a distraction for San Antonio over the course of the season? Ken mentioned it, Thiago Splitter. We've been waiting for this guy, talented player from Brazil for quite some time now. Now he gets his chance in the NBA. Richard Jefferson, new attitude, an adjustment in maybe his approach, and it looks like he's rededicated himself. So San Antonio certainly capable. I think all three will be playoff teams. You throw Houston in that mix, as you mentioned, Ken. But the key will be Yao.
And the other thing for Dallas, those guys are there for the whole season. Caron Butler, Brendan Haywood steps into that starting center position as well. So they're there to start the season with those guys. Now back to Houston here for a second, because they added some pieces. Trevor Ariza is now gone. Kevin Martin they added last year. Courtney Lee over the summer in that trade where Ariza is now gone. Ian, do you like what they've done here in the offseason?
I do, and I think Kevin Martin's a big-time scorer. He showed that with Sacramento. They needed that. They needed someone that they could rely upon, not just dumping the ball into the post with Yao. And they've learned to play without Yao. Look, there's no doubt Luis Scola has proven himself. He's gotten paid like a star player. He's a workmanlike guy. Chase Budinger, that's a guy you got to keep an eye on. An impressive preseason. Last year a rookie. You saw flashes out of Arizona. I think Budinger now is someone that's going to be productive at this level and someone they might be able to count on night in and night out.
And another story to follow in the Southwest Division as this season progresses, Ken, will Chris Paul be with New Orleans by the end of the season?
Well, I think it depends a lot on how they start. And I think if they get off to a rough start, Chris Paul is going to have a very short attention span, a very short leash on what he's willing to tolerate there. He has been yearning for complementary talent that is championship worthy. He still doesn't have it. He certainly does not have the luxury that a LeBron James had to go and play with two superstars. He just wants to play with one superstar, and he's the only superstar right now. So I think if they get off, that thing can really spiral quickly, I believe, if they get off to a slow start and Chris Paul says, you know what? He picks up the phone, calls Leon Rose, and says, get me out of here.
And when you look at Memphis, a team that improved last season. They made a lot of offseason moves last year. Zach Randolph certainly helped. What do you see out of the Grizzlies this year? Can they make a playoff run?
I don't think so. I think they take a step back in a very competitive division because Houston will be better than they were a year ago. And that was a big jump for Memphis to go to 40-42 and become a credible NBA team. There's talent there with Gay and Gasol and Mayo, but there's something missing from that team that's not allowing them to take that next step like in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City, it all came together. Memphis, there's just something that's not right there for their franchise.
Maybe missing on Hasheem Thabeet with the top of the pick last year, unless he could take a step forward last year. Going to the NBDL last year certainly didn't help the Memphis fans in getting excited about Hasheem Thabeet. All right, when you look at, Ken, the biggest acquisition that will help out the Southwest Division, who is it?
Well, Ian and I agree it's Tyson Chandler, and I think it's all about size right now because you have to look at the competitive teams that are going to be competing for a championship. the antidote to that is size and depth, and I think Chandler really helps out Dallas on the front line. If he can stay healthy, if he can keep the wheels going, he can be a real asset to them.
And what about the rookie in this division?
Nobody's been more successful than the San Antonio Spurs in scouting and finding international talent. And Tiago Splitter, he's not a mystery. People have known about him for a number of years. It's just taken a while for him to get the buyout and get to play in the NBA. I think he becomes a very good fit for the San Antonio Spurs. He's my rookie of the division this year.
Yeah, and not just finding talent overseas, finding talent. George Hill was not a highly talented or a touted guy out of IUPUI, and he's done a nice job for them as well.
IUPUI is not overseas?
No, well, no. We saw them last year in the Final Four. Went to Indianapolis. All right, for more on the Southwest Division, keep it right here with CBSSports.com. For Ken Berger and Ian Eagle, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.